Alright, so our warm-up was to draw a quick sketch of the shape and tell me what is the area of that shape. How do I find area? Let's start there. Put your pencil down. How do I find area? What is a strategy I could do? Put your pencil down. What's a strategy I could do to find area? Ava?
I do multiplication.
Okay, why would I do multiplication?
So, or you can help, it can help you because, you can count, like, how much, each side has a certain amount of, like, dots, like, on the top there's, like, 5 rows.
Mm-hmm.
So you can count by, like 5s.
Okay, so you could skip count. Sure. What else is a strategy? Your pencil's down. I don't want you drawing right now. What else is a strategy to find area? If you have no idea how to find area, you have a notebook. How could you find the area? Piper?
Count the sides. Like the area is like sort of like the measurement of like.
I use an array. Why would I use an array with a shape like this?
How many square units?
Naviana, why would I use an array?
Because an area is it is similar to an area.
To an array? Yeah, it's the same thing. Instead of dots, it's got squares. But it is still an array. That is still an array. So if I know that this is an array, and I know how to multiply an array, do I have to draw in all my boxes? No. I don't have to draw in all my boxes. Which is why I asked you, Colin Murphy, to stop drawing 3 times, because you don't have to draw in all those boxes. Because you know a better strategy than counting every single box. What could I do instead? Go ahead, Colin. You don't even have to do a faster way. Jackson, what could I do? What would be my equation? What if I wanted to do 5 times 7? That's easy. Ooh, yay! Someone told me what's not going to happen. Jackson said that's okay because my product isn't going to change. What is 7 times 5? You should know this. It's your 5s. Kaylee? 35. In this case, because we don't have a specific unit, you can just write 35 units. And then I had this conversation with Jackson the other day. That little mini 2 means squared. Remember when we talked about 2D, 2 dimensions?
Yeah.
That's saying, hey, we counted 2 dimensions. We counted length and width. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So if I had 100 dimensions, I don't even know what that would look like, then I would write 35 units 100. But we only have 2. Length and width. Does that make sense? Yep. So if you are still trying to draw all those squares, stop. You don't have to. You could have just drawn a rectangle and labeled your dimensions and said, okay, I know if I close my eyes and kind of squint them, that's an array, and I know how to use an array. Okay, now you're done. So from there, I can figure it out. What's up, Piper?
On Also, since it's on your notebook and it already has the sideways lines, you could just draw 4 lines.
Okay. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to have 3 more area word problems like we were working yesterday. So go ahead and find your graph paper. It's in your classwork folder from on Friday. You should still have some. You're going to do these independently. Last week we did them together. Today I want you working on them independently. You're still going to glue the area or the area model with your equation, as well as an answer sentence and everything else that goes with it. Okay? We've talked about how to measure area, right? We've talked about you can count all the pieces. We call that tiling, the squares. Or you can imagine it as an array. You can use multiplication or skip counting. But we're going to talk about what can we use to measure area. When we measure area, we're measuring distance. So I'm not going to say this room is 20 pounds. Do pounds measure distance? No. No. So I am not going to use pounds, but I might use something like miles or inches. I need you to write down this sentence right here. We use units, that measure distance. So when we're talking about area, we're going to be using a couple of different units. We need to make sure we're using the right one. We're not going to be using pounds. That doesn't make any sense. Colin, you're writing that sentence that I underlined. Now, some units, if I'm measuring something really small, it would make sense to use a smaller unit. And if I'm measuring something really big, it makes sense to use a bigger unit. So for instance, if I was going to measure this room, would I measure it using miles as my unit? No. No. 1 mile is way too big. It's bigger than my room. Would I measure this room using inches? No. Probably not. Could I? Sure. But that might be too small of a unit. A better use of unit to use for this room might be either feet or yards, depending on which one I have access to. They're bigger than inches, but smaller than miles. Yep. Underneath that sentence, I want you to make this subtitle, different units of measure. And we're going to make a list of units of measure. And then I want you to split up your paper into 3 columns because we're going to do small, medium, and large. I'm talking about the size of these units. So your paper needs to have the subtitle different units of measure, and then it needs 3 columns, a small column, a medium column, and a large column. Yeah?
Do you want to go like...
It can go down the page, that's fine. It can go all the way down the page. We won't fill it all the way in, but it can. So what unit of measure, what kind of unit would I use to measure, let's say, something small, like a paper clip? What could I use to measure? Jackson, what might be something? Centimeters. Centimeters are very small. Very, very small. They're actually one of the smallest units of measure that you guys use. It's on a ruler, usually on the other side. Like, Naviana, what might be another small unit of measure?
Inches.
Inches are pretty small. Bigger than centimeters, but still pretty small. That would be that would make sense to use if I was measuring a paper clip. Do you think of anything else? Gabriella?
Meters.
Meters? Meters are not small. I would not use a meter to measure a paper clip. Colin? Kilometers are not small. Santiago? We got centimeters.
Millimeters.
Millimeters are even smaller than centimeters.
What?
Millimeters are very, very small. Yep.
Are they half a centimeter or is it tinier?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure the ratio.
Like a month.
Literally every other country in the world uses the metric system, so they measure things in centimeters and millimeters, except for the United States. We tend to measure things with inches. I don't know why. We just wanted to be different, I guess. But it's kind of a pain. It is, except the meter system is in groups of 10, which is cool, kind of like a number system. The inches system is not. So it doesn't really make any sense. It's weird. All right, what might be something medium? Like something I would use to measure a book. Or maybe my crates that you sit on back there. Something, a medium distance. Not super big, but not super small. Maybe even a filing cabinet. What's that middle unit that you could use? Piper? A foot. Piper, do you know how many inches makes up 1 foot? Nope, that would be cool if that was the case, but it's not. Aiden, do you know how many inches are in 1 foot? Nope, close. That would be cool if that was the case, but it's not. Lindley? 12. You can put this on the side somewhere or at the very bottom. 12 inches equals 1 foot. I put the abbreviation IN for inches, FT for foot. So if I smush together 12 inches, I have 1 foot. What else might be a medium unit of measure? Maybe I want to measure a desk. Ava? Okay, pause. I want to know what might else be a medium unit of measure. Gabriella?
Meters.
A meter. A meter. Jackson?
Yard.
A yard. Jackson, do you know how many feet are in 1 yard?
2 or 3.
3. So 3 feet equals 1 yard. So if I get 3 feet stuck together, please don't stop while I'm talking, that will be equal to 1 yard. What if I wanted to measure a really long distance? A large distance. For instance, maybe I wanted to measure, or maybe even a road. Maybe a road, I wanted to know how long a road was. Aiden, what might be a unit that I use for something really long, really big? Kilometers, yep. When you run races, a lot of races might say 5K or 20K, 10K. That K stands for kilometers, kilometers, however you want to say it. That's the distance. Yep. Emily? Miles. There are 5,280 feet in 1 mile.
Wow. What about a yard? There you go.
Jackson?
Would a marathon
Kinda. It's like a non-standard unit of measure. So you remember in first grade when you like counted how many teddy bears something was tall or how many
Yeah.
paper clips something was tall. So you can measure by marathon if you wanted to, but it's not a standard unit of measure. Like you're not going to have a marathon ruler.
Very cool.
Ava. Okay. Are we good?
Yeah.
All right, once you have this down, I want you to come down to my carpet, please. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a sort, and we're going to match item with the appropriate unit to use to measure. So the items that we have are on the left. So we have a pencil, a car, the height of a building, a paper clip, and the distance around the sun.
Oh.
Scoot up. You go way too far back. You should not be behind table 3. I've said this 100 zillion times. On the right, we have some units of measure. So we have inches, centimeters, meters, miles, and feet. So when I call your name, you're going to drag and drop and match the unit to the item that you would measure it with. Does that make sense?
Okay.
For instance, if I'm going to be measuring a paper clip, drag and drop to my yellow flower, I'm probably not going to use miles, right?
Okay.
Would I use miles to measure paper clip?
No.
No. Does that make sense? When they're correct, they go into the honeycomb. All right, Maddie, to match an item with a unit of measure.
How many games?
All right, Maddie went with the distance around the sun, and she's going to use miles. Awesome. Piper,